I believe some congratulations are in order because your boy touched some grass last week. And by touched some grass, I mean I went to the movies. A friend invited me to go see the pre-release for the first 3 episodes of Dandadan, which is set to release next season. And I didn't even know they were doing that, but I was like really excited to go see it. So we went and it was a good time. So today, I just feel like yapping about the experience. So if that's your jam, sit back, buckle in, and prepare for me to waterboard you with some freshly squeezed opinions. And if not, then just, it's alright, I'm not going to be offended, just jump on over to one of the other 1,000 tabs you probably have open for videos to watch. That's right, I know you and I know your type. You're sitting down with dinner looking for something to throw on, and you have a litany of 20 different tabs open for things you want to watch, and you're never going to get to them. I know that because that's what I do. But anyway, before I get into it, I kind of wanted to talk about this whole theater experience because it's kind of interesting. You know, back in my day, we never really went to the theater to go see anime, especially pre-releases, and I feel like this is something that's becoming a little bit more mainstream, especially with Studio Ufotable and Demon Slayer. I've gone to go see them do it quite a few times, and with their experience, usually it's just strictly the episodes, and on this case, it ended up being something slightly different, which I thought was interesting, and I'll talk about in a little bit. But personally, I like it. I think it's really cool. I could see on one hand people arguing that maybe it's just an easy cash grab, but from my perspective, I think it's a really fun and interesting way to support the industry. You also get to see anime on a giant screen, and that's kind of dope, right? And 3, I think the sense of community you get is really fun. I mean, I don't really imagine people walking in there on a whim, seeing this and buying a ticket going, I wonder what that is, and being surprised that they're watching anime. I feel like most of the time people that go to see these things are all fans and people that have already shown interest before buying the tickets. Especially now that, Crunchyroll has nerfed any sense of community on the main site for people to get their anime interest out, which sucks. So stuff like this I think is kind of nice. Now, when we're talking about Dandadan, I am already all caught up in the manga, and I've been reading the manga for quite a while, so when this ended up getting announced, I was really excited. And with that being said, I'm not going to be spoiling anything, so don't worry about it. I'm really just going to be talking about the experience and maybe have a minor spoiler in here somewhere. But don't worry about that, it's not going to be something crazy at all, and it's not going to ruin anyone's experience. I will say though that among the shows that are releasing next season, like Re:Zero, Dragon Ball Daima, and Kami Arabi God.app, which I'm oddly really excited for the second season of. I don't know why. Yokotaro just has a weird way of captivating my interest. I think this one definitely has a significant amount of hype surrounding it, and when you read it, it's easy to see why. The characters are all fun and engaging, and they're constantly introducing new characters, and every single time, they bring something completely new to the table and end up being just as likable as the rest of the cast. The story is creative and well-paced. The tone is constantly shifting from one mood to the next. But it never really distracts from the things that are happening. One moment you'll be laughing your ass off, the next you might feel sad, and a moment after that you might feel tense and engaged, but everything that's happening is really immersive. It doesn't feel like things are happening at random. The story really commits to these moods, and has such conviction in the way that it shows them with the detail on every panel and every chapter. So when we started getting the promotional material from Science Saru, the studio that's bringing us the anime adaptation, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit skeptical. I mean, this manga is famously detailed. For the amount of time that it's been released, it really never dipped in quality at all, and it's insane. If you just look up some of these manga panels and the amount of details that are going into each one, it's insane that this is being drawn on a weekly basis. And when compared to the promotional material that was releasing for the anime adaptation, it's I don't know, something about the character designs just seemed off to me. When you look at their hair, there's no highlighting, it's just plain colors, and that just seemed kind of off to me, especially when you look at how detailed everything is in the manga. And it's like, if they're willing to take creative liberties on stuff like character designs, like what else are they willing to take creative liberties on? Are they just gonna like change the whole thing? Like, I don't know. And I've seen some people arguing that, oh, well, you know, it's Studio signed Saru, they're gonna do a good job, as if they've like done a whole lot and have like a great track record. But like, I'll be honest, I haven't really seen anything else that they've done aside from the Scott Pilgrim anime, which was really good. But that has a lot more of like a Western style cartoon appeal, which is entirely different animation than the highly detailed character designs and backgrounds of Dandadan. It's like, I don't know, putting this on the same table just seems weird to me. So with that being said, I went into this with a little bit of a critical mindset, but hopeful nonetheless. Now, the cool thing about this theater experience and pre-release set of episodes, which was a little bit different than I've experienced before, is that before showing the episodes, they had a mini documentary. So we were able to hear words from the director of the studio, the original creator of the manga itself, as well as the two main voice leads. And I don't know, something about like hearing everyone talk, it kind of just washed all my worries away. They all seem so passionate and happy about the project. And a lot of the details that they brought up were things that I never really considered or thought about at all. The studio director was talking about how a lot of the details that go into a manga and translating that onto animation is stuff that you really do have to be creative about. There are details where maybe on one page of panels, you'll see that the panels slowly shrink in size to isolate details, and then follow up with a whole page of art. And then when it does that sort of like page of art, it sort of emphasizes the impact of something that's happening. And it's like, you can't just show those panels on screen and animate them. You have to find creative ways to actually exemplify the mood that it's trying to articulate. That's a lot of the stuff that they had to do when creating this show. And he showed this like whole binder of examples that he takes from life and other mediums, which I thought was like really fascinating. The guy seemed so passionate about it. Like, he had this panel from Child's Play, the horror movie from the 1980s featuring Chucky the doll, where he had a knife, and in that knife you can see the reflection of someone's face, and then in the next scene after that it shows someone dead on the ground, and sort of like how those sort of parallel each other when it comes to manga and translating that into animation. So stuff like that I never considered, and hearing him talking about it was very fascinating. I just thought that was really cool. So with all that out of the way, my worries were eased, and I felt like this was in good hands going into these episodes. And after watching the 3 episodes, they did not disappoint. They were really good. I thought all the detailing was there. They definitely weren't lost in any of the creative liberties that they took. The characterizations for the main leads were spot on. I think they were likable and fun and expressive, and the chemistry between the two main leads is like quite a selling point of the manga, and I thought that they did such a perfect job. We also had those ominous tones that we get from the spiritual and occult themes within the show, mixed with the tension that you get from like the aliens. I thought the sound design behind the whole thing was really great too. There's all sorts of different tracks going on in the background that sort of emphasize these moods. And like I said, I already read the manga, so I knew the things that were going to be happening, but I still was like on the edge of my seat as different events were unfolding in front of me. And I still felt like entirely engaged and immersed throughout the entirety of it. I do feel like perhaps there should have been a little bit of a trigger warning though, because like I said, I've already read it and I knew this was going to be happening, but like reading the manga and then seeing this pan out with all the sound design and voice acting behind it was a little bit, it felt awkward. But there is a scene in the beginning, and this is a very tiny spoiler warning, where the main characters sort of get stripped down into their underwear, and the main female lead is like very nearly SA'd, and it was a little uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely way more uncomfortable than reading it in the manga. But I think this is just one of those things that's meant to be like attention grabbing at the very beginning. You know, they're trying to be a little bit edgy. Later down the line in the manga, these details are non-existent. So if there was something to complain about, perhaps that could be something, but I think a lot of the other details surrounding all the other elements of the production far supersede that one complaint. If there was another complaint to be made, perhaps it could be about the animation, and I'm going to get into that because I think it was fine, but my friend who I went to go see it with had a bit of a differing opinion. So when watching it, you'll probably understand what I'm talking about, that there's nothing bad about the animation, but they do use that animation technique where you have sort of like a 3D model with 2D animated over top of it, And it's not used like throughout the entirety of it. It's used in like very select parts, and you'll understand that when you watch it. But it is noticeable. I think Studio Mappa's been doing this a lot with a lot of their productions, and I don't really think it's bad. It's just that you notice it, and perhaps that can take away from your immersion. It wasn't really distracting, it's just that that was a different technique that was used in those moments. And I think some people can be a little bit more critical of those techniques than others. Personally, I think it's fine when it's executed well, but that is a factor in this show, and it's something that when it does happen, it's kind of hard to not notice. Otherwise, I thought like everything else was good. The intro and outro songs were a lot of fun. I think CreepyNuts does the intro, and I don't think this is like my favorite intro that they've ever done. I think Daten from Call of the Night is probably my favorite. That song is a certified banger. It's so good. I think, I'm pretty sure they also did Mashal's intro, and it's easy to see the translation here of them going for this like TikTok dance style of intro, and they kind of nail it. It's catchy. It's not really like to my particular taste, but it's still fun and it's still good, and the animation behind it is also still like really well done. Personally, I thought the outro might have been like a little bit more favorable to me. I thought that it was pretty cool, but you'll be able to judge it based on your own opinions when it finally comes out in October. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't want to talk about spoilers. I just kind of want to talk about the experience and sort of like just express the hype that I have behind it, how much fun it was to go see it in theaters. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the season come out next season. If it's something that you don't have any awareness of, keep a lookout for it, because I think obviously ReZero is going to be a pretty big hit next season. I don't really know like what else is coming out. It doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot, but this is definitely going to be a contender for something that sort of tops the charts, I'm pretty sure. But let me know what your thoughts are. Are you looking forward to it? Have you read it? Are you looking forward to seeing how it all goes down? Did you already see the pre-release for the first 3 episodes? What were your thoughts on that? Try to keep the spoilers to a minimum if you can for people that might not have seen it. But I'm interested in hearing people's thoughts. What else are you looking forward to next season as well? Let me know in the comments, and while you're down there, subscribe, like, do all that fun jazz if you want. If not to help with the algorithm, then do it to help my self-esteem, because I still feel awkward recording things. This isn't like in my zone of comfort. But I want to get better at it, and seeing like people develop interest really helps me. So, cool. Peace out, guys. Till next time.